Alexa, turn off music. Good evening, everybody. Hi, hello, how are you? This is Shay, and as you can see, I just got out of the shower. I've had a really long day at work, a really long couple of weeks. I haven't been able to post a video. I have a video prepared to post, but I have to record it and edit it still. But I have the thumbnail put together. I've had the script put together, and I've had this put together for quite a while. I'm doing a video on Aaron Carter, the death of Aaron Carter, and his addiction to drugs. But things have gotten super crazy with my career that it really has overcome my entire life, really. Really super long hours, but the good thing is my career's really taken off, so that's always a great thing. I am very excited about that aspect of my life, especially with all the changes that I have made over the past 6 years. But I kind of wanted to give an update because the last time that I posted a video, I was talking about the swelling that I was having in my hands and my legs. And I've gone through quite a few bit of testing, and I think I may finally have some answers regarding my swelling. So I'm going to learn a little bit more about it today, about what my doctor was telling me and what is going on. And I figured we'll do that together. We're going to watch the same video on YouTube. I have not watched it yet. I just found one that fits the topic. But this is what my doctor has told me. So those of you who don't know, I was a heroin abuser for 19 years. I was a drug abuser for 22 I was a drug abuser for 22 years. 19 of those years, I abused heroin, right? So, a lot of IV heroin use for almost 2 decades created a significant amount of vein issues in my arms and my legs, but mostly my legs. In the very beginning, I never really had good veins in the first place. I'm sorry, guys. I got to do my nails, too. This is a very multitasking time for me. So I've missed you guys, and I haven't been able to post a video, and I just wanted to post an update. So forgive me if I need to multitask, but I need to multitask. So anyways, what is that? Okay. So I had my fair share of IV drug use, right? And in the beginning, I've never really had very good veins. Don't know why I decided to shoot heroin, but, it felt so good at the time. But I never was built to have the correct veins for shooting heroin. So I had a really hard time shooting it, doing intravenous drug use. It was always difficult for me. So in the beginning, when I had like a drug partner to kind of, cop drugs with, do hustles with, that kind of thing, this individual used to shoot me up in my legs for me, which is, at the time was a wonderful thing. And, just a quick heads up, this individual is now deceased, and he is deceased from his drug use. So, but I still want to be respectful, but this individual is not alive for him to be offended. But this individual would try to shoot me up in the back of my legs. Now, the thing is that he did his drugs first, and then he shot me up in the back of my legs. So he was nodding out half the time when he was shooting me up. I was 18, 19 years old, incredibly naive, and I just let this guy do this because I didn't really know any better. But so, long story short, because that had happened to me at such a young age and I allowed it to happen, I have some vein issues going on in my legs. So this is what I was told. First, I already knew I had arthritis in my knees. Had arthritis in my knees because I did a lot of walking, because I walked all over the DC area to run scams, do hustles, get my drugs, that whole thing. But that was after my growing up years playing volleyball. was really heavy in volleyball growing up, and for the most part, I was a hitter. Now, granted, I wasn't very great at the volleyball. I actually was not good at it at all. I sucked. But I come from a huge volleyball family, and volleyball is just what we do. It's the sport that we play. So there it is. So as a result of those things, I've discovered that I have arthritis in my knees. So the one thing that I do have going on that they discovered in all the ultrasounds and testing that I had to put myself through is I have a pocket of fluid, but not in the front of my knee. It's all the way in the back is kind of where it settled. And it settled, this little pocket of fluid, it settled right where I have the entry marks and scarring from that young man. His name was Russell, by the way, from where Russell used to shoot me up in the back of my legs. All my veins were absolutely shot, and the back of my legs was kind of all we had. So as of right now, that's not really causing me a whole lot of problems, but it will in the future. But thankfully, the solution for that is a little bit of drainage. Just drain the knee and I'm good to go. So that's a wonderful thing. And for the most part, all of the testing that I had an echocardiogram, I've had ultrasounds on my arms, I've had ultrasounds on my legs, I had lots and lots of blood work done. And for the most part, believe it or not, I'm normal. Can you believe that? The medical community has determined that me, a 22-year drug abuser, 19 of those years, IV intravenous use of heroin, and I'm relatively healthy and normal. Go figure. But there's a couple things going on. First of all, I'm at that age. So the swelling has impeded my ability to be as active as I used to go to the gym. The arthritis has kind of gotten in the way with that. And as a result, my cholesterol's gone up. I've gained weight. My thyroid levels are all out of whack. And my blood pressure is a little bit elevated. But not quite enough to take medication, which is infuriating, let me tell you. But I can't seem to just walk around the block for more than 15 minutes, but I digress. I just gotta, I suppose I'm just gonna have to keep going and keep trying and keep moving forward and moving through it, because eventually I will get back to my beautiful young 20-year-old bod that I used to have if I stick to it. At least that's what I'm telling myself, based off of what the doctors told me today. The other thing that the doctor told me was I have some vein valve issues. And that's the video that we are going to watch together tonight, guys. We are going to watch a video that explains to us what the purpose of the valves are in the veins, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about how that's affecting me and what that is all about. So let's just again, I found this video just by doing like a quick Google search on YouTube before I started this live. So let's look at it and see what they have to say.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is how we keep blood from going backwards in veins. So as you know, when blood is down in the feet, it has to go up to the heart. And to go up to the heart, it has to go against gravity. So here's what happens. Here comes my blood coming up in a vein. And when the heart beats, what's going to happen is, if you notice, there's a valve right here. And currently this valve is closed.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to stop it right there because this is exactly what I'm going through. All of the swelling, let me go back to this scene here. All of the swelling ends up down here, like towards the end of the day. I get it in my ankles. I get it in my feet, right? So the blood flow is collecting here. And now in this video, he is going to talk about what's happening and when the blood flow doesn't go up. This is where he kind of started.
When the heart beats, it forces the valve open and blood enters into this area. Now, between beats, the blood is going to start coming back down due to gravity. When it comes back down, it forces this valve to close. So when the heart beats, the valve opens, and then Between beats, the blood comes back, forcing the valve to close. Then the blood stays in this area. Then when the heart beats again, and remember, this whole thing's going to be full of blood. So when the heart beats again, now the blood forces this valve here to open and goes up into this area.
Okay, I want to stop it right there. So we get the idea, right? The blood flow throughout the day, for me specifically, is coming down here, is coming into my ankles, is coming into my heels right here, and my feet. It's pulling down here because in the process of my blood flow going up and down, up and down, up and down, there's delays in these valves opening and shutting. To where I forget which one was which, but one of them down here is like a half a second delayed, and the other one closer to the top is about 2.5 seconds delayed. So it's delayed with the opening and closing. So what's happening is because of that delay, the fluid in the blood stays pooled down here. And because that's happening, that is creating a significant amount of issues with me being able to walk and with me being able to exercise, and not being able to do those things or do those things as I used to, as aggressively as I used to, is spiraling into high cholesterol, not being able to exercise, gaining weight, thyroid issues, all of those things. So although I walked away relatively unscathed in regards to like the 19 years of intravenous use, but really 22 years of drug abuse, that's a long time. That is my biggest issue, is the valves opening and closing, because it has such a ripple effect to other things going on in my health. But let's see what else he's got to say. There's like a minute left in this video.
Between beats, it comes down and forces this valve to close. Okay, let's take a look over here. If we look over here, this is when we're exercising or moving around. It doesn't necessarily have to be big exercise. It could just be walking.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen now is your muscles contract.
Yep.
As the muscles contract, they cause the vein to become smaller. The blood cannot go backwards because this valve here is closed.
Right.
So there's only one way for blood to go, and that's up. And when it goes up, it forces this valve to open. And now what's going to happen is if you stop moving or we're between heartbeats again, when the blood comes down, it will force this valve here to close. And then the blood stays in this area. And then when you take a step or you do anything, the blood continues making its way up to the heart. So that's basically how the veins or the valves in the veins work.
So I don't know about you guys, but did anybody else really, I mean, I suppose it's kind of common sense once you know it, but I didn't know this. This was not common sense to me. I did realize that, blood was flowing and, there's gravity and all that other stuff, but for it to be broken down like this, I was really I feel really oblivious. And it's not until, of course, it started to impact me personally, did I really need to research this. So again, those valves that are allowing the blood to go up and down is not being able to fight gravity because there's such a delay with it closing. And thankfully, the good thing is it's not happening everywhere else in my body. According to the doctor, it is happening down here in the leg area, just like it was in this video. Let me show you again. This exact area, this lower area, this lower area down here, the doctor's saying it's happening here, but it's also happening, what you can't see is up here on my thigh, closer to my hip. So, my next step, according to the vascular surgeon, because a few years back, I had a car accident where I herniated my disc. There is a herniated disc in my L5-S1. So I need to go back to the orthopedic, get some work done there, some testing done there, and just make sure that it's not pinching a nerve or twisting in any type of way, because I'm having significant issues or more delays up closer to my hip than I am down to the lower portion of my leg. So the valves are opening and closing delayed in 2 different spots in my legs. But relatively, that's significantly good news compared to what it could have been because of all that I have done and all that I have abused my body. So God is really great. God is incredibly awesome. I am extremely thankful that He kept me through this process, and the circumstances that I'm dealing with now is so much less than what it could have been. And I'm grateful. I'm internally grateful for what He's brought me through. God has brought me through it so much. Things could have been so much more worse, you know? So I can't seem to really find the words, but my spirit's just filled right now because of how much He has really kept me through this process. So again, I just kind of wanted to hop on here, give you guys a quick update of what's going on with me now that I finally have some answers to all of the health issues from my last video. I really miss you guys. I haven't been able to post anything, but I am working on an Aaron Carter video. I am hoping that things within my daytime career is going to slow down some to where I can focus and spend more time on the YouTube channel. And again, anybody that's been around since the very beginning, my video uploads are like that, because I guess you could say I'm a recovery YouTuber, but I don't have the same goals as other YouTubers, right? I'm not looking for followers just for the sake of followers. I'm not looking for clout or anything like this. I don't have any delusion that I'm ever going to have enough viewers or subscribers to ever be monetized and have a channel that's going to make me money. Although all of those things would be great, but that's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal by this channel is just to share my journey and to show other addicts that are thinking about recovering that, 1, it is possible, and then 2, the reality of what happens when you do recover from drugs. Because to me, from what I've seen, that's kind of where the conversation tends to stop, and we don't see the entire journey of somebody that is recovered and stayed recovered, even if there are relapses involved. Now, thankfully, in my story, I haven't had drug relapses. But who's to say? That could happen at any moment. I can completely lose my way, and I could pick up. That totally could be a reality. I could have the perfect storm of events that would put in front of my face another bag of heroin where I will pick it up and shoot it again. I can't say that could never happen, but what I can say is I strive to live my life in a better way. I make better choices. I do things so that doesn't happen anymore. And I think the circumstances would really have to be perfect for that to happen again, because the person that I was when I was abusing drugs, from the beginning of the 22 years, even towards the end of the 22 years, and who I am now, it's like night and day. I am a completely different person, and that's kind of what happens when you grow. Life tends to get you to grow up some, right? And I've grown up, and I continue to grow, and I continue to change as I learn more about myself. Like, I'm getting more into the political sphere. If you would have asked me even 2 years ago, Shannon, you're really going to get into politics. By the way, my real name's Shannon. I would have told you guys that you're absolutely crazy. I would never get into politics. I thought it was boring. I thought it didn't impact me at all. But maybe it's just because of the social environment of everything that's been happening since, the big COVID. I've really gotten into it and really listening to all sides of the political debates. And I kind of find myself right there in the middle, leaning a little bit towards the right. But I'm right there in the middle. Like, there's some dumb Republicans and there's some dumb Democrats, but I don't want to get off on a tangent on that. I'm just trying to share of just how much I change and how much a person that's in recovery and actively doing things to better themselves and not use drugs and trying to get away from that whole life. Don't be surprised if your loved one has a completely different personality towards in that process of recovery, because I know I am one. So again, thank you for anybody that's watching this video or is kind of hanging out with me and seeing what's going on with me and interested. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Please like the video, please share it, especially with somebody who you think may benefit from hearing what the long-term effects of long drug abuse 2 decades of drug abuse and what could possibly happen to you physically even after recovery, and finding these things out years down the line even after getting recovered. Just anybody who you think could benefit from this. I really want to reach as many addicts or potentially recovering addicts or recovered addicts that you think may need to see this message. That's who I'm trying to reach, and I need your help to do that. I want to promote a more positive message on YouTube, and again, I need your guys' help to do that, to get through this algorithm, because YouTube does not promote videos like mine. Maybe there's no interest. I don't know. But again, I just want to hit the people who is appropriate to see this type of footage. Again, be the change in the world that you want to see, as I always say. And until my next video, keep it real, y'all. Just, I really love hanging out with y'all. And again, I'm going to get with y'all just as soon as I